So first, what we're going to do is I'm going to start with the newsletters, because that started way back in October of 2011. It gives you, well, there it is, the very first newsletter, September 11th. Excuse me, I said October, September 2011, newsletter number 1, and it goes through, you know, a lot of early stuff. A lot of it's outdated by now, but a lot of the interesting stuff here. Okay, so that's a hard copy I did to have it myself, because otherwise everything else is PDF, right? And I like a hard copy. Then continuing with that, newsletters 11 through 17. Again, same thing, hard copy, just for myself, a lot of pictures, taking care of all the Hess and other items, my trucks, trains, pretty much a whole lot of everything in there. And as you can see, there is hundreds, if not thousands, of photos, Hess, and everything else. A lot of people have contributed. There's all the Christmas stuff from Coca-Cola and Texaco, and just a lot of great eye candy that you would really enjoy. Okay, so for those who've been around for a long time, know these very well. Okay, and then here we go, 18 through 27, same thing, just a quick little visual, has all the Hess goodies, plus the meetups we did, all the New Jersey meetups. We did a total of 6 of them, and they grew every year. And again, lots of fun pictures and stuff to go through. And these were just for people that asked, all the Hess Toy Truck fans that wanted to be part of it. When Marathon came around and purchased the Hess stations, turned them into speedways and all that jazz. And a lot of Wilco and Surfco and all the other good stuff's in there. Okay. And then, by the way, what it says, do subscribe. Do it now. Do it now, okay? That helps the channel grow and helps other Hess Toy Truck fans find as well. Next set of newsletters. As you can see, a lot of holiday stuff, a lot of good stuff. A lot of time spent on these things for the members of the Facebook page, and basically anybody that said, Mike, hey, you know, oh, this was a good one. How to fix the pumper, the 1970 pumper. We did a whole issue thanks to Mike Rigney on that, on how to fix it. There it is. So that's cool, and like I said, some other stuff in there as well. You have the Hess, Surfco, Wilco, everything in between. Customs, all the good stuff, all the variations and models and all that stuff, okay? And just getting done with that here. Here's another quick breeze through. Hess at sea, with all the ships and the tugboats and all the good stuffs. A lot of this stuff had never been seen before, variations, a lot of stuff here in the newsletter also. There's a couple things in there that are copyrighted, which I could never produce because I couldn't find the person to get the holders with. Otherwise, everything else is original. So that's a couple things in the newsletters. You'll find things that were never in the books because I just either couldn't find the people or get permission to reprint the pictures. A lot of interesting stuff here. And finally, this one here, finishing up the newsletters. They've slowed down recently, about a couple years ago, because I just haven't been getting a lot of feedback on them. Texaco issue was really good. Some Sinclair. Again, everything and anything. Here's our meetups. Those were really cool. I do miss those. Trying to get that back up and going again. So all my Christmas morning newsletters that I used to do, the trains. Oh, I love the custom trains and the holiday materials and stuff and the customs. I mean, we got crazy, crazy stuff here. Okay, so that in a nutshell is the newsletters. Okay. What you might find interesting now, this right here is the very first encyclopedia. It was called the master list of every known model and variation of Hess Truck. This was actually done first in, I think, May of 2011, and this is the complete and expanded version, August 2011. This is after I started talking with James Galdo from the Facebook page, the Hess Facebook page. And so this right here, it's very, very, very basic. Just to kind of give you a quick run through. A lot of information, a lot of text, some pictures, and you know, a lot of outdated stuff. Some things that ended up coming back. And this was the very, very first encyclopedia. This is what I sent to people for free, practically begging people, hey, listen, you want to take a look at this? What do you think of this? And everybody was freaking out. And oh, here's one of the very first few mysteries that we had did. Both James and myself, finding out there was a supposedly glow-in-the-dark 85. Turns out it wasn't real. It was somebody's custom. But back then, before the internet, the thing is that a lot of people got really burned on fake trucks because they didn't know what was real and what not. Here's something, interestingly enough, way back when I called it a prototype and that it was fake and all that, and years later, like 10 years later, I've come to find out that that actually was a prototype. I can't go into details why, but so every once in a while I do correct things. This one I actually had to search back 10 years to find the picture because I was like, I knew I covered it somewhere. Anyway, so this is the original, the very first thing that started it all. As you can see, it uses a lot of the Hess pictures, which I'd never be able to get away with. Artwork, pictures, and all that kind of stuff. Some customs I did. So really a lot of good fun stuff of, that is just how it all started, There's me talking about Hess and how disappointed I was that they weren't ever coming out with another tanker. They kind of heard that. They kind of listened. And so that right there is the very first master list that came out. And we're talking early 2011. Okay. So this now is the first printed book that I made for people. And what happened was we got about 50 or 60 people to send me a check in the mail to cover the cost of printing this thing. This thing was ridiculously expensive. Anyway, the Hess Toy Truck Master List, again, a complete guide to Hess truck collecting. That was suggested by a gentleman named Dwayne, who was actually going to publish this and produce a few thousand copies, and then at the last minute basically said no. And I was scrounging, and so this right here, it's very different. It's very, very hard print, very expensive. You're gonna see some notations on there. These books were like ridiculously expensive. It's all full color, glossy, almost cardstock paper. Okay, and anybody that has any physical hard copy, it would be basically this. This is the very first one, and this came out in 2013. Okay, so 10 years now, and as you can see, there's a lot of things covered, and there was about I think somewhere in the neighborhood of I don't know. There's only like 70, maybe. I don't know, maybe 60 copies. There's only 60 copies of this that exist. And most of the original ones were signed and numbered by me for those people that that supported me early on. Dear John Hess, of course, I sent a copy to John Hess every year. Never heard anything, but what can you do, right? So anyway, so there's the very first master list. Now, so here is the very first encyclopedia. This was went on Amazon, CreateSpace, totally self-published, checklists, clones, historic values, prototypes, and more. And this right here, this is what started it all. Okay, this is the one that kind of blew up, and this came out, I believe, again, excuse the notes. If you ever come across a book and it has a W in there somewhere, that means it's my working copy. And what happens is I'll take notes as I find new information. That either stuff that's new or things that have have gotten fixed. A lot of people in the very early beginning, I'm going to take a moment, Matthew, James, Mark, Bill, Wayne, John, Joe, Bill, Ronald, Tom, Ray, Nate, Steve, Dwayne, Tom, Randy, Brad, Tim, RV, Rick, Frank. These were all people in the very beginning. They get big shout outs because they really helped put this together. Big introduction. Pages are completely full, edge to edge, as you can see. And whatchamacallit, and this is the first one. Also, too, I use 11-point font, which is later on I had to squeeze more into it. But as you can see, it's just all kind of interesting stuff. A lot of this, again, has been updated and modified throughout the years. But in these early editions, what I do have that I just don't anymore because I don't have space for it, and I don't have, people that are that much interested is I have the clones. So you'll see a lot of stuff in here. Let's see. This I spent months on, a little visual history of the trucks companies. This was cool. All the BMAC clones. This right here I spent a lot of time on. All the BMAC, all the Mark's oil tankers, the visual differences, the ever so slight visual differences between the Servco and Wilco old trucks. I was actually talking about this just the other day with somebody. You just can't find information like this. There is absolutely no Servco, Wilco information out there covering a lot of the clones and a lot of the things that look identical. And then, of course, the dual racer transport, which is the Joe Gibbs truck. The Hovensa from Ray was the first one to get that out there. And then a lot of these sort of clones, all the battery cards. Again, a lot of this stuff you just don't see anymore because it just takes up too much space. So yeah, so that was the very, very first one. Okay, learned a lot. You saw my notes in there. So that obviously became now this version, which is there we go, a little more clean. You can see everything. So this right here, 2014, okay, a lot of that first runner-up stuff has been corrected and fixed, and it's a little bit laid out better. Basically, it's much improved. It's also laid out differently. It's got the years, the decades, advertising, big full-color pictures, stuff you had never seen before, side-by-sides like this. It shows you every single tanker, how it looks side-by-sides. You can compare. I'm a big fan of side-by-sides. and before and after. This one has a lot of pictures showing just interesting things like the point of sale kit. And then this is right around 2014 when the station started closing. Some rare trucks, some mini trucks, you know, blueprints, just lots of things that, yeah, were updated. Now, right here, I called it the 6th edition. I'm not sure why. Love this quote, an absolute essential for any Hess collector by D.P. Smith. And this right here now, whereas this one finished, really fixed up that first book, this one really became onto its own. Okay, as you can see, we've got the lineup. A special super thanks to Mark Gisty for doing that. It took him all day to do this for me. So this one right here, this book, as you can see right off the bat, it's really polished. Okay, this is where it really started taking off. So this is 2016, and there's just stuff here that I mean, full pages, double. You know, here's the 50s and the 60s, full gigantic pages. I mean, I really maxed out every possible option that I could for this. The Voyager stand, the mystery behind that. I mean, just. You know, I mean, this is, look at these gigantic pictures, super high quality, very expensive book. And this is where it really started to take off. It kind of found its footing on, you know, the format of how it was going to go. Special editions, that's always been a favorite of each book. You know, seeing all those trucks that you've, you know, never seen before. Special variations and prototypes and all that stuff. So this right here, and also too, a lot of the pictures I started redoing myself so that there's uniformity. Obviously, there's always going to be pictures that, you know, somebody else took that I'm going to put in here. This right here I don't have in the new books anymore because it just takes up too many pages, but the complete clone connection, where I've got Wayne Henderson, who authored his own books about gas company globes, wrote a great introduction for me. And, you know, again, covering all the Hess and Serfco and Wilco and all those other versions that you're unaware of, the promotionals, the newspapers, the booklets, the pump toppers, battery cards, and also, of course, the Hess Mobile Museum. So this right here, and then of course the master checklist of every version, clones checklist, some pictures of my daughters, and then this was cool too because I had a lot of clients from the UK. So there's a couple of interesting stations here that I threw in there, cool little pics from across the pond. That has not gone in any other further issues. Didn't really get a lot of feedback on it. So yeah, so that's the 6th edition. Here we go, 2017. Okay, obviously we're continuing now what you've seen. We've added another row, unofficial, threw that in there because there was some potential of people getting confused because my material seemed to be a little bit more inclusive than the Hess corporations. So they were getting a little antsy that I was getting some attention on this. So again, now the book is, I think, is almost 200 pages. Some more updates, some more original pictures from like a childhood friend, Danielle. She's an amazing artist or painter or artiste, and she helped create some original trucky for me, yes, for lack of a better name. As you can see, the table of contents now has gotten very detailed. I couldn't fit any more on the page. So again, too, here we go. Good definitions to know, a lot of text, a lot of info. A lot of this stuff I no longer have in the books because it just takes up too much space. And the text, I mean, text is text. You know, I could send that in an email or a newsletter. Obviously, I want to save the book for the pictures that you can, you know, see in your hand. So I did make the headers now only 1 page instead of 2. Got to get more pictures in there, segregate the book more. Some amazing just money shots like the guy who's got like 25 BMAX. Yeah, a little excessive. I'm not going to argue with that. All the different variations. Again, this one took me a while to get all the variations of the 77 and 78 with the circle, without the circle, red, black switch, and all that stuff. A lot of stamps, station stamps. That was helped by Matt Dillon. A lot of good stuff. So as you can see, again, it's more fine tuning of the material, adding and adding and adding till I can't add anymore. Okay, adding some stuff. And again, taking more and more pictures so you see more uniformity, okay? This is particularly awesome, the 84 tanker prototype and the first truck tank prototype, which I got my hands on to play with, and it was great. This one has it takes batteries, and the person didn't even know it, and I'm like, let's put some batteries in there, and it turns out that it's a coin slot. As you can see, it's much bigger than what they ended up going with for cost reasons, of course. So, and this, the first sounds and everything, that was great. New pictures coming up of the oil derricks, and just, as you can see, a lot more color, a lot more stuff, a lot more condensed. I've reduced a lot of the print to 8 point so we can get everything in there. Again, now this is all the non-Hess battery cards, just for reference, the retail bags, the employee buttons, the New York Jets football schedules before the internet, kids. That's how we used to do things, and Holy Grails, and 2017. All right, 2018, again, adding more stuff here. Some beautiful money shots with some great stuff. So again, we've got some notes. And just flipping through this real quick, as you can see, there's lots of corrections and lots of things of new information. Because what happens is somebody will see this and they'll say, hey, I didn't know that that existed because I have this. And then they'll get in touch with me and I'll go, oh my God, that's a new thing, you know? So then I got to do more research and then add stuff to the book. So that's what happens. You put out what you know, and then people come back to you and they're like, hey, but did you know this? And then now that I know that, I put it in the book, and then full circle again, excuse me. So in this one, I started redoing all the headshots, you know, just, again, you know, lots of corrections. This was pretty cool getting that. At the time, the world's most expensive Hess truck. It sold for $12,000. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Mini trucks, and then again, too, some cool prototypes and blueprints and all the extra little promotionals and some amazing things. That was Bill. Unfortunately, Bill passed away. Bill was our biggest supporter for the meetups. Originally, Frank had spoke with him, and if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have had those 6 meetups. So we miss you, Bill. All right, so another 2018. This is the one. I tried to keep a copy that doesn't have the writing in it. This is the one without the writing, and the one I showed you had all the notes. The working copy. Okay, don't forget to subscribe. All right, so let's see. Here's another working copy. Yes, 2019. All right, so sometimes what happens is sometimes I'll go through all the trouble and I'll put out the book, or at least the first, you know, promotional copy for me, the author's copies, and I'll go through it and I'll find a mistake, and it could be something as little as I missed a comma. And yes, I will go back and redo the whole dang thing. So that's probably what one of those is. The 2019, now again, this is another step ahead. As you can see, the background's all white. I took these pictures myself, added in Truckee, added in some graphics. I mean, everything's more uniform, more professional. And it's just, you know, added some pictures of me and my dad. And this right here is just an amazing, amazing book. So proud of this, that it's got so many things. I made things a little bit more digestible, a lot more pictures, some history before the trucks. And, you know, pictures have gotten a little smaller because I just had to be able to fit more in there. You know, you're working with a finite amount of real estate. And a lot of the old stuff, if the picture has been updated, a lot of times I'll update a bad quality pic with a new quality pic. So as you can see, a lot of times in the past, there used to be a lot of pictures. People would complain about the quality of the pictures. And I'll be like, listen, this picture is to show you that it exists or it does not exist. So, yeah, so this is a lot of, you know, the newest ones, the most expensive ones I made showcases of. A lot of amazing, again, prototypes and pictures. The formatting and the goodies and new stuff have been really, you know, put on there. Okay. Again, also my friend Danielle created Truckee for me. So yeah, so 2019. Now we're almost done here. The 2020, same thing. It's a modernized version. It has updated, has more stuff packed in. I'm just going to go through that real quick because there is not that much difference. There is difference, but as you can see, flipping through it, at first glance, it's, you know, it's nothing crazy. Got some humor in there. Throw some funny things in there. But generally speaking, not too much. So finally, that's going to bring us to the hardcover, which is the final of the encyclopedia. First attempt, second attempt. Oh, geez. Probably this is the new one. And these are working copies that come out after this. So anyway, this right here is the Apotheos. This is the 10th anniversary. This is hardcover by request. Everything the people have requested, you know, shows you the most expensive trucks. And this is just really a work of art. So you have, it's very thick pages. Encyclopedia, picture of my dad when he was in the Air Force, because obviously it's all about my dad. And then basically it is everything's fine-tuned. There's extra stuff in here. Passing of the torch, again, a lot more history. I added a couple more things in history for you. The 60s, there's just so much more. Every single iota is completely filled. There is not an inch. You can't fit a church mouse in here. That's how much jam-packed it is. I mean, at some point I ran out of space, so I just put a QR code, and I'm like, okay, here's more pictures for you. So there you go, every single inch. Also, and what I'm very, very proud is, here it is, the first ever interview with Hess Toy Truck by an individual. So I'm very, very happy that I was able to do that, and I asked some questions, basically that the fans wanted to know. And I said, hey, let me know, and this is the first one. There is a second one, so this is really good. Okay, so that's the encyclopedia. Take a slight detour just for a second. By request, I did release the best of the Hess Truck Enthusiast newsletters. This is 200 pages. I literally couldn't make it any thicker because then it wouldn't fit in the priority envelope. This was on sale for a while. People wanted it, so what I did was I went through all the old newsletters and pulled out anything that I couldn't, that I didn't have permission for and whatnot. And then this basically goes through, I mean, yeah, 800 full color photos, no ads or dated stuff, 200 pages, and listen, when the fans ask for things, I try to adhere. And again, so this is really the best of the first, I don't know, 60 newsletters or so. And then here's a nice little, this is a nice little collage of all the newsletters, which I think is kind of pretty when you look at that. That is pretty nice. Obviously, you can tell I spent a lot of time on this stuff. Some stuff. The older ones, obviously, as you can tell, as it goes further and further, they're more and more basic. All right, so that was a little sidetrack. Now there are some other offshoots. There's this years ago. I tried to do this, and it was just too expensive to produce. Full color, you see the green taking up the whole page and everything. So I spent the money and got it, but it's just too much to reproduce, and I didn't have room to put all the information in. So I said, you know what? Hess themselves puts out a pretty book. Speaking of which, it's right here. And they put out a pretty book of pictures, but I'm all about the information. So that's that. Speaking of Hess, here's their book. It's a great book. It really does. The pictures, I mean, they fell short on a couple things, and there are some errors in there. I'm hoping very much that they consult me for the 60th, the 60 years of Hess Truck book that should be coming out on the 60th anniversary, I guess. It's a nice book. It's got some really good pictures. Obviously, it's meant to cater to someone that just wants to see pretty pictures, whereas mine is catered to the ones that want to know about the history of the book. Really quickly, just a couple of offshoots that you may be interested in. So again, this was a request by fans to do a picture book where I took some amazing shots, almost like centerfold style of all the trucks. Didn't get a lot of big feedback on it. Didn't get a lot of sales on it, so I didn't continue. But if you wanted a centerfold book, basically of Hess trucks, I was pretty happy with this book. Didn't cost much. And then a side shoot of the encyclopedia was the gift edition, or what's now called just the ID guide. And what would happen is, I don't expect anybody to give their kid a $40 book to play with, especially if they're young, right? So these were about, I don't know, $16 or something. And gift giving in the beginning, it would say the name of the kid, and this, I check off, I have it, I want it, and it was just basically for kids to look at and to go through. I did that for a couple of years, and then, like I said, that morphed into the ID guide. That did morph into the That did morph into the Hess Truck ID guide, which was updated for 2021. And basically, so this is interestingly a fun bit. Every once in a while, you'll get a book that for some reason was printed upside down. So this is my copy, because obviously I'm not going to give anybody that. So that's my upside down printed copy. But for the contents, like I said, it is it's an ID. So this is an off print run. Finally, there was a couple of years that I did the shopper's guide, and the shopper's guide was basically years and years of eBay data sales, and that I have to thank Mark Gisty for. When he originally sent me his Excel document, it took me about 6 months to go through 18,000 lines. It was absolutely insane. So the 2015, 2016, 2017, it has the sales data, the variations, and so this gave you values that they sold for eBay, and then the averages to give you apples to apples comparisons. Anyway, that is my story. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.